Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This is Bhajneet Singh from Shabad OS, and today I want to do an informal video about what Gurdwaras can do during COVID-19 in terms of virtually transmitting keertan and paath, or a virtual darbar of sorts, so that Sangat can still listen in and benefit from listening to Gurbani and reading Gurbani, its translations, transliteration, pronunciation, things of that nature. Shabad OS has overlays built into it where basically whatever is being shown on the presenter or whatever you have in the controller selected will show up in the overlay. So if you go to settings, click on overlay, this URL, if I typed it into, let's say, Chrome, just for example, and we were reading, let's say, Japji Sahib, then it would show up here, right? Whatever I want, whatever is going to be shown on the presenter will be shown on the overlay as well. And to kind of change that, what you can do is you can pick different ones. So I picked this subtitle one, the top banner. There's a conference one. I don't know what that's for. Presentation. The floating ones, the windowed top captions. You know, a lot of different options. And an example one, which is just by default like that. So what we're going to do is, I guess I'll show you really quickly. Also, you can change it so it's Lardivar Gurbani. You can turn the translations off. You can turn the pronunciations on. These aren't direct transliterations, but they are pretty close. And you can also customize them. So if you go to the bottom and click Open Overlay Folder, we give you an example just to base everything else off of. And what we're going to do is we're going to we had a client called Gurbani Tube. Let me show you really quickly. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking Shabad OS, the presentation, and they're reading bot. So they have a Baisab, they have their logo, and then the lines that they're reading during that name or whatever, during their darbar, it could be kirtan, anything, is showing up on their videos during their live stream. And I thought it could look a little bit more professional if we changed the colors a little bit. So we created an overlay for them, and I'll just recreate one with you guys to give you an example. So to go back here, we open the overlay folder. Let's rename this Gurbani Tube. And you won't be able to see that here until it's restarted. So we go into Shabad OS, and then we reopen the settings window and the overlay, and then there's Gurbani Tube. Now it will work. Let's close that, and then let's add our overlay to an encoder like OBS, Wirecast, vMix. They all work with YouTube. And what we'll do is we'll just add a browser. We'll name it Shabad OS Overlay. We'll copy the overlay by clicking this. That's the URL. We'll match the size of our canvas so that it fills the whole thing. And what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of customize it so that it can fill the whole screen. It's very easy to do. A lot of times someone else will have created an overlay for you, and you just have to place it in here, pick it in Shabad OS, and you're done. It'll look exactly the way you wanted because someone else customized it for you. And if you want to do it yourself, I'll show you how you can do that. On Windows, you can open it with Notepad. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Mac OS, there's text edit, and you have these variables here, which let you kind of customize the appearance of the overlay. It won't affect the presentation. And what we're going to do is we're going to change it so that it fills up all the way. Well, I guess to kind of show you more clearly what the overlay is actually even filling up right now. Here's the background added to it. So you can see that's all it's really doing. And we're going to make it fill up the whole height by doing that. So now it's filled up all the way, but it's not spaced out. So we can do space around, and it will fill up the screen a lot more nicely there. If you wanted to change the padding, because if you're doing this for TVs, you want to have at least minimum 5, but I think 10 to be safe. And you'll also want to obviously change the font size. So if you go down to font, make this around 8. That's a very respectable size to read. That's the default that we use for projectors, and it's been pretty good from what I can tell. This is a very good size. I think maybe the second lines might be too big, so you can also change the factor. Instead of being 60% of the gurbani size, you can make it like 45% of the gurbani size. And if you want to just end it here for your gurdwara, all you have to do now is add your audio, like your input capture. So it could be a microphone. In my case, I'm using a laptop, so it's just my microphone, and you can see it's working there. And then you would set up your live stream with YouTube. There's a lot of guides online, so you can go to google.com, type in OBS plus YouTube or something like that, and you'll get a lot of guides to tell you what to do. Even Google's own resources and help guides will tell you what to do, and you'd be all set to go. You're already ready. I guess if you want a little bit to see how to make it more professional in terms of OBS, I can show you how to do that really quickly. You'd add like a background. I guess we'll just call it bottom bar, so we can call it at the bottom. Make it a dark color, make it a little bit transparent. Make it fill up all the way, and about 250. That's a good size. Put it at the bottom. And as you can see, the projector the presentation of the overlay is now getting covered up. So you can either resize this so that the bottom, instead of being 250, you minus 250 from it, or sorry, instead of being 1080, you minus 250 from it, and it won't go into that area. You can see the font size changed as well, because the font size is actually relative to the height of this window, so you would have to bump that up again in the overlay. The other thing you can do is just leave this at its original size, and since this is just a CSS file, at the bottom you can add something like that, and it'll also work just fine. It added more padding at the bottom specifically. If you're good at CSS, you already know what to do. You inspect the page. I showed you the URL, so inspect it, change whatever you want, and then put it into your CSS file, and you'll be good to go. If you want to add like a logo and stuff like that, so is this big enough? Okay, let's try that. 144. You can obviously use your own images on your computer, but I'm going to be lazy and I'll use another browser. You should not do this actually, because you're just wasting bandwidth, and you kind of need that bandwidth for streaming, I think. That's not too bad. And okay, if you wanted to add text as well, you could do that. Just go to plus sign, add text, and a nice trick here is actually you can use emoji. So they had a Paisab who was talking into the microphone. We can do a microphone, and we can write Bai. They can add the proper name later. And to make the emoji show up, because not all fonts have every emoji, Windows uses Sego UI emoji. And then I guess we should make that a little bigger too. And then you can just place that down here. Maybe add another line, something like, so they can do some branding or marketing. And if you want to put in an emoji here, you use the Windows and the period hotkey, and this will pop up. So this one actually shows up in Arial, but I think just to be uniform, we're going to use the same font on both of them. It just looks more professional in my opinion. So everything looks the same. And there you go. You can line these up if you want. Go to transform, edit transform, see where it is on the left side. We'll make them all 260. So 260 here, and then we'll make this one 260 as well. Why is that not working? There you go. And those are lined up on the left now. You got a logo, the bottom bar area, you got your presentation. As you change lines, it will change very quickly. For instance, let me show you here. We'll go back to Japji Sahib, pop it out. And as you change the lines, it'll change the live stream, right? And this is how the live stream will look like for all the people at home. right? It's just nice open screen, very easy to read, looks good, looks professional, has your logo in the corner, has some information. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. You can direct messages on Instagram or Twitter. You can send us a text at WhatsApp. Our numbers listed on various areas, or leave a comment below on a YouTube video. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And please stay safe during COVID-19. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.